Imagine powering your RTX 4090 one day and it just never wakes up again. No display, no errors, fan spinning like everything is fine. This MSI Gaming RTX 4090 came in exactly like that. In this video, I'm going to take you through from a completely dead with no display all the way through diagnostics, memory repair and full stress testing until it's ready to go back into a system. Hi, my name is Fraser and welcome to GPU Solutions. In today's video, I have an MSI Gaming RTX 4090 that's not giving any display. Heavy GPUs like this, when mounted horizontally, put in a lot of pressure on the PCIe slot and the connector area. Over time, that pressure can crack solder joints under the memory or even under the GPU core itself. In this case, I suspect a fault somewhere on the memory system. So that's where I started. The first step for me is to identify and locate the faulty memory. I install the GPU on my test bench, put the system into the internal display, load it into the correct folder and run the mods command to test the memory. On this card, the mods result clearly pointed to F0 as the faulty memory bank. If you want to know how to identify faulty memory on GPUs that use GDDR6X or GDDR7, I have a dedicated video where I show the process in detail. I recommend watching that if you're interested in the full breakdown of the testing method. Once I knew F0 was failing here, the next step was to dismantle the GPU and lift that chip to see what's happening underneath. I started this assembly from the back of the card. First, I removed the 14 screws holding the backplate and took the backplate off. Next, I removed the X-shaped retention bracket on the back of the PCB, which is held in place by 4 screws and clamps the cooler against the GPU core. After that, I removed the 3 screws on the I/O bracket. At this point, the cooler was loose. I gave the cooler a gentle lift and it separated from the PCB. Then, I disconnected the 2 fan connectors and the 2 RGB connectors and the cooler was completely out of the way. With the cooler removed, I moved on to the PCB support bracket. There are 2 screws on the back of the PCB holding this bracket in place. Once I removed those, the PCB support bracket and the I/O plate came off together. With the bare PCB accessible, I need to locate the exact memory position for F0. On this board, I started counting from the bottom of the core near the PCIe slot in this order: A1, A0, B1, B0, C1, C0, D1, D0, E1, E0, F1 and finally F0. On this MSI Gaming RTX 4090, F0 is the last memory chip on the left side of the core. That's the chip that mods reported as faulty and that's the one I focused on. Next, I set up the board on the preheater. I like to use a preheater to bring the entire PCB up to a stable baseline temperature. My preheater goes up to about 120 degrees Celsius and that's the temperature I use on this preheater. Because the preheater can only go that high, I set up my hot air station to around 420 degrees Celsius with about 60% airflow for the actual removal of the memory chip. These values are based on what my specific hot air station can handle safely and consistently without damaging the board. With the board heating, I applied flux around the F0 memory module to prevent oxidation. Once the preheater reached around 120 degrees Celsius and the PCB was evenly warmed, I came in with the hot air over F0 and carefully removed the memory module from the board. After lifting the chip, I added a bit more flux and cleared the excess solder from the pads on the PCB. This board was using leaded solder on the memory pads, so I didn't need to tin them. I just used solder wick to clean the pads and leave them flat and ready for reballed chip. Then I moved over to the memory module itself. Under the microscope, I could clearly see that some of the solder balls had separated from the pads. Given the weight of this card and the way it had been mounted, this was consistent with the mechanical stress at the PCIe slot slowly fatiguing those joints. Before reballing and reinstalling the chip, I also checked the continuity for the relevant data and command lines between this memory position and the GPU core. On this card, all of those lines measured correctly, and I didn't find evidence of broken connections under the core, so I proceeded with reballing the F0 chip. To start the reball, I added flux to the memory chip and removed the remaining solder from the pads, flattening everything out with the solder wick. Once the pads were clean and flat, I wiped off the old flux with isopropyl alcohol and then placed the memory module onto a stencil holder. I positioned the stencil over the chip and aligned the stencil hole with the pads on the memory module. With the stencil aligned, I lifted it briefly and applied a thin, even layer of flux to the pad using a small brush. If I see any excess flux, I clean the brush with isopropyl alcohol, dry it, and go over the chip again to keep the layer very thin and uniform. Then, I placed the stencil holder back, poured the solder balls over it, and gave it a gentle shake so the balls could drop into the stencil holes. Once the balls had settled in the holes, I removed the extra balls and lifted the stencil carefully, leaving the balls sitting on the pads. I placed the memory module on a flat surface and checked it under the microscope. If any pads were missing a ball, I added the missing ones manually before heating. For reflow, I used my hot air station at around 300 degrees Celsius with 1% airflow. I watched the balls as they reflowed and pulled into neat round joints under surface tension. After I finished reflowing, I let the chip cool down and then cleaned off the flux again with isopropyl alcohol and a brush. With the memory module reballed, it was time to put it back onto the PCB. I placed the board back onto the preheater and brought it up to around 120 degrees Celsius again. I applied flux to the pad on the PCB at the F0 position and a light amount of flux to the pads on the memory chip as well. Then I carefully positioned the memory module over its pad array and aligned it in place. Once I was happy with the alignment, I came in with the hot air and reflowed the chip into the board. To confirm that the solder had fully melted and the chip is seated correctly, I gave the memory module a slight tap with tweezers. When all the balls have reflowed properly, the chip will snap back into its natural centered position. After the reflow, I let the PCB cool naturally back down to room temperature before moving on. With the board cooled and the chip installed, I move back to testing. At this point, you have two options. Run mods again to specifically verify that the memory bank F0 is now passing, or switch the display setting in the BIOS to Auto or PCRE and try booting directly from the GPU. If the GPU now gives you a proper display, that's a very good sign that the installation and reball went well. Once I know that the GPU is outputting display, I clean the PCB thoroughly, either with isopropyl alcohol and a brush, or ideally in an ultrasonic cleaner if you have access to one. After cleaning, I reassemble the GPU. With the RTX 4090 fully assembled again, it was time to stress test the card. I ran a series of benchmarks and stress tools including FurMark, Superposition, 3D Mark Nomad, and 3D Mark Speedway. During these tests, I monitored for artifacts, crashes, or any instability. The card passed them all without issues, and the temperatures and behavior were normal for this model. At that point, I was satisfied that the repair was successful and that this MSI Gaming RTX 4090 was ready to go back into service. If you enjoyed watching this repair journey and found it interesting, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the future content. You can also support the channel by becoming a channel member or using the thanks button as a one-time contribution. Every bit helps and allows me in making detailed repair videos like this. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Cheers.